Hi, everyone, and welcome, warm welcome to this Hemingway Society webinar about our 2024 Hemingway Conference, Hemingway Society Conference in San Sebastian, Bilbao. I'm Suzanne Del Gizzo, and I am chair of the media committee and editor of the Hemingway Review. And I'm really here as a host to introduce the main features of today's webinar. And those are the conference directors. So let us welcome Verna Kale. Verna is an associate professor of English at the Pennsylvania State University and associate editor of the Hemingway Letters Project. She's published a biography of Hemingway and is currently editing the Norton Library edition of The Sun Also Rises, the Routledge companion to Hemingway, and is co-editor with Sandra Spanier and Miriam Mendel of Volume 6 of the Letters, which will be released this coming May. She has served on the Hemingway Society board since 2018 and joined the conference team in 2023 as director of the academic program. So welcome, Verna. And we also have Iñaki Sagarna, who is a secondary education history teacher at Elizondo, north of Navarre. He was the Hemingway and Idaho Fellow of the Community Library of Ketchum in 2019. There he worked on the relationship that Hemingway developed with Basque immigrants in Idaho. Now he focuses on connections that Hemingway developed to the Basque country and its people. He's from a small, beautiful town between San Sebastian and Bilbao called Deba, and he is the site director for the conference team. And last, but certainly not least, we welcome Alberto Lina, who holds a PhD in American Studies from Exeter University and Cinema Studies from Valladolid University. He is did I do it right, Alberto? So he is currently working as a civil servant in the Department of Education in Castilla y León. He is author of several essays on topics and people such as Francis Coppola, Benjamin Franklin, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Alfred Hitchcock, Ernest Hemingway, and Thornton Wilder. He is currently researching the representation of Germany in American culture and the Holocaust. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, conference team. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can get going.
Thank you, Suzanne. Hi, everybody. It is a snowy day here in Pennsylvania where I'm located. And so as my background, I've chosen a nice warm beach that hopefully next July I will be sitting on. So I know we're all really excited about this conference, but I know you also have a lot of questions. So what we're going to do today during this webinar, I'm going to give you a few little updates and then turn things over to Iñaki and Alberto. They're going to present on the site, what you can expect to see, some of the logistics of travel and accommodations. And then after that, I'm going to walk you through what the registration page is going to look like for the conference. And then we'll have some time for your questions. So we'll definitely have a Q&A. You can put your questions into the Q&A, into the chat, and Suzanne and Kirk Crunet, who's also here helping us today, they will help feed your questions to the team, and we'll do our best to answer those. Just a few little updates from me. I received your wonderful proposals. I've responded to all of them. I've accepted them. I have also contacted the winners of our travel grant awards. And so if you have sent me a proposal or you have applied for an award, but you haven't heard, if you're still wondering if you're presenting or wondering if you received an award, you should not be wondering about that now. You should know. So maybe something went wrong with the emails. Anyway, if you are wondering about that, please reach out to me by email. My email address is vlk123@psu.edu. and I'll make sure you know what is going on there. For those of you whose proposals have been accepted, right now we're working on drafting the conference program and putting everyone into panels that have thematic links. It's looking really good, and we're hoping that we'll be able to publish on the website a draft of that program, hopefully by the end of the month. Once that draft goes up, I ask that you take a look at it, and you should get in touch with me if you need to change your paper title, or if you need to change the way your name is presented or your affiliation is presented. Those changes will be fairly easy to make. If you have a change to make in your presentation order or date, I beg of you to please consider how much you really would need to change that, because it would have a domino effect on the whole program. We've set it up in a way that will be thematically enriching to everyone at the conference. So not liking your presentation time is not a good enough reason to ask to change it. So I ask that you consider those kinds of requests very carefully. Speaking of the presentation times, they're all actually pretty good. We decided with this program to kind of follow the Spanish custom of having a later lunchtime and a later dinner time. So we're going to be starting the program a little bit later in the morning, so no one is presenting at 8 in the morning, and that's really good news. There's an afternoon break built in, and then some early evening presentations. And as Iñaki and Alberto will talk about, some really fun activities that we're going to enjoy together. You're probably wondering about next steps. You know, I've been accepted to the conference. I can't wait to come. Are we going to, what do we do now? What's my next step? The first thing you should do is make sure you're a member of the Hemingway Society. In order to present at the conference, you must be a member of the Hemingway Society. So go online and make sure your membership is up to date. Some people who previously were members and they let their membership lapse, you're going to just have to join anew. Instead of renewing, you'll just need to join as a new member for some technical reasons that are probably kind of boring to go into here. But make sure you're a member of the society, and we're going to open up registration very soon by the end of the month. So then you can go ahead and complete your registration form online. And then you can, see the program that's posted and start making your travel plans. And I think that I saw a question in the Q&A I wanted to answer. Are proposals for presentations closed now? Yes. The program is set in draft form, and there really isn't any room left on the program to add new proposals. You can send me an email if you have particular details of the proposal that you want to share, but more than likely we won't be able to accept it at this point. All right. Are there any other immediate questions I can answer about that right now? I'm not seeing any in the chat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn things over to Iñaki and Alberto to talk a little bit more about the conference site.
I think that I briefly introduce the site, and then Iñaki will go ahead with the program. And the two sites is the story of two cities. San Sebastian is a summer resort that became very popular in the 1920s. And it was a special place for musicians and artists all through the 1920s and 1930s. In the 1950s, it became the place of the International Cinema Festival. And it has been a place of great reputation in France and Spain. Whereas Bilbao is a different city. It was the kind of Spanish Manchester in the 1920s and 1930s. It was a place where you have two different cities, a modern city and as well a very old city like New Orleans. Bilbao is a very exciting and dynamic city in the last 10 years because of the Guggenheim Center. They have the arts center as well, and it's one of the most dynamic places in Spain because you have an exchange of people coming from France, north of Spain, south of Spain, mixing up together. So we are trying to do something in two different cities, blend into different atmospheres, and I think it will be very enjoyable. Iñaki.
Thank you very much, Alberto. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk a little bit about more logistic things. So let's see if this works. Okay, so as you already know, the conference will be from the July 14th to July 20th. And the first thing is how to arrive. I'm gonna give you some clues. Okay, so if you are coming by plane, you can Bilbao itself. It has one of the main airports in Spain, the biggest airport in the north of Spain. And there are really good connections with Paris and Amsterdam, especially. Then another place you can also go weapon is Biarritz, which is 1 hour, 30 minutes from San Sebastian. So it's another good place you can check. You can check like how much it costs to fly to Biarritz or Bilbao. Both of them are very good places. And then there is also an option that you can also go by plane to Paris, Barcelona, or Madrid. And from those places, there are different options. You can come by train, you can come by bus. I'm going to explain how to come by train. Paris is very, very well connected with Hendaya, which is 40 minutes from San Sebastian. Here you have an example how you can come from Paris. Paris, Hendaya, there is like 3-5 services per every day of TGV. And you can buy online a ticket from that starts from Gare Montparnasse to Hendaya, and then you only need to change stations, which you can see in this picture are next to each other. The big one is the TGV station, and then next to it is the small Euskotren train, which connects Hendaya with San Sebastian in 40 minutes. There is a very good regularity of 30 minutes from 8 a.m. to almost 8-9 p.m. And you can buy that last ticket. You can buy it online in the machines that are in the station. You can see the machine. The machine has an option to switch to English.
Into English as well.
Yep. Then from Madrid or Barcelona, there are regular services from both big cities. You can go to the Renfe, you can buy a ticket online in Renfe, which is the Spanish train service, and it's like between 5 or 7 hours. There are also 4 or 5 different trains from each location to San Sebastian or even to Bilbao, and it's pretty easy and very well connected. Then another option that also, like if you are taking your car from England or you are coming from Great Britain, there are some ferry services from England and Ireland to Santander and Bilbao. Make sure if you are taking the ferry that there are only 2 or 3 ferry services per week. So make sure to take into account that if you are coming by ferry. And then after talking about all of these transportation things, we will start focusing on San Sebastian and Bilbao. Okay, so San Sebastian, as already explained by Alberto, is a summer gathering place. It has like a great influence of Belle Époque. You can check here, like how beautiful it is. And it's a very dynamic place where we are gonna have a very amazing cultural agenda during July. There are 2 or 3 important museums, Chidalecu, which is the centenary of this artist this year. Then there is also the Tabacalera and San Telmo museums that offer a very interesting cultural agenda. And besides, after the conference from the 21st to the 25th, there is going to be the Jazzaldia, which is a international musical, like jazz music concerts during 4 days. There are like very, very important international figures there. But now switching to the locations, then we are going to have our venue. It's going to be the Cursal. The Cursal is located right here in one of the beaches, next to one of the beaches. And it's very, very near from the train bus station, which is right here. You can see it. Besides, there can be some issues. We don't have any place to book. Like we haven't taken any hotels as a reference to book because San Sebastian it's very, very busy during summer. So make sure to book a hotel or a hostel next to the venue. You can see if you are wondering how to get a good hotel or a good hotel place, you could go to Google Maps or to the sansebastianturismo.com, and they offer you very interesting web pages in order to know where you can book a place. All the informations here, like all the eyes here, are different hotels or like a place to stay. Then I also use a lot of times this booking.com. Then this is the direction or the URL I was telling you, sansebastian.com. I can share it via the chat if you are interested. And you go check different prices in booking.com before booking anything. I usually use Booking and then contact directly the hotels. Usually it's cheaper and it's better to have direct contact with hotels. Other idea that you can use also is you can sleep in Bilbao. We are having, as I'm gonna tell you now, some offer with the cart with 2 hotels, with the Carton and the Abando, and you could book in addition to the 4 days from the 17th to the 21st. You could also book from the 14th to the 17th in Bilbao and use the train or the bus to come from Bilbao to San Sebastian. You have to take into account that both cities are 1 hour 30 minutes from each other. So
Jackie, I wanted to just break in here. We have some questions in the chat relative to that, and I just want to answer them really quickly. People are interested in seeing these travel slides later. Yes, we will make the travel slides available on the conference website, and also people asking about trains or other transportation between San Sebastian and Bilbao. Yes, we will, Iñaki will definitely give you that information as well.
So I think that now I'm gonna switch to the San Sebastian Bilbao connections questions. Okay, there are 3 very, very easy ways to get from San Sebastian to Bilbao. The first one is the bus. You could take a bus from San Sebastian to Bilbao. It's 1 hour 30 and it costs 30 euros per person per travel. Make sure to make a reservation 1 or 2 days before because these bus services are in a pretty high demand during summer. Okay, and it's easy. You go to this online link, you get here, you choose the date, choose the origin, San Sebastian, choose the destination, Bilbao, and then you book your choice, your time slot or your time choice. It's pretty easy, and then you receive the ticket via email. If you don't like the bus, there is also another option, which is the taxi. It's a little bit more expensive. Well, a little bit more expensive. It's 200 euros.
Sure.
But if someone wants to use it, it's much more comfortable, and you can. There are like plenty of different taxi services in San Sebastian or Bilbao, in either one. And then another one, which is the longest one, but it's also nice if you want to explore a little bit the country in between San Sebastian and Bilbao, it's the train. We have a special train, Euskotren, that starts in Amara, in the very center of San Sebastian, right here. You can see the train, Euskotren, which is very, it's like 30 minutes walking distance from the venue. And it goes to Bilbao, and it takes like 2 hours, 45 minutes, something like that. It has like an hourly service, and it starts at 7:50, and the last train is at 8:50. It costs 7 euros, so it's the cheapest option, but you can also take this transportation.
It's a
And
long.
now, yeah, and now I'm gonna finish with Bilbao and the options that we have here. Okay, Bilbao, it's also like a booming city. It used to be a very industrial, but now it's a much more modern city. Also, it has a huge cultural agenda. Not only the Guggenheim, but there are also like other like different options, like the Fine Arts Museum. It's it's getting better. I think that unfortunately in 2024 they are gonna have some sort of works over there. So even though it's gonna be available, it's not gonna be at the fullest. And then also there are like different theaters, like Arriaga, which is here. But okay, our venue is going to be the Cartlon. The Cartlon is a 5-star hotel in the very center of Bilbao, a place where Hemingway stayed at in the late 50s. And it's, as you can see here in the map, here is the Guggenheim in the very top of the map. And it's like, this is like 500 meters from the Guggenheim. Cartlon is in the very center here. And everything is pretty near, like less than 500 meters from the Carlton, you have the in San Mamés, which is the soccer stadium of Athletic Bilbao. Right there is the bus station. And on the contrary, as in San Sebastian, we were able to secure some hotels. The Carlton is offering a very, very good rates to be a 5-star hotel. You only need to go to the Hotel Carlton Dock S, and in the reservation code you have to write Hemingway. Try to make sure to get a hotel room here in the Carlton if you want to do the Carlton, because we have some limited spot. And then if there is also another cheaper option, which is also very, very good, and it's a 4-star hotel, which is the Abando, and you could do exactly the same. You go to the hotelabando.com, you go to the reservation link, you check the dates, the rooms, the occupants, and don't forget to write the code Hemingway, and then reserve it. If you are having any issue, you can email me, you can email the hotel directly. You can see here the cancel or the policy, the cancellation policies, which are very, very good. And that's it, I think, right? Do you want to add something else for the hotels, for the venues, Alberto, Berna?
No,
Yeah, just really quickly, we had a question in the chat. Are the hotels in San Sebastian walking distance to the Cursal? Yeah, the map that Iñaki showed is a very walkable area, and I mean anything's walking distance if you try hard enough, right? But seriously, like you can look at the map and kind of see where there's a lot of hotels in that kind of old part of the city that are, you know, pretty easy walking distance to the Cursal. And we had another comment in the chat from an experienced traveler saying, book now because the San Fermin Festival is happening in Pamplona, and some of the people at that festival are going to come down to San Sebastian once it's over, and that's true. You really do need to act now on getting your reservations in San Sebastian because it's a resort area. Think about the suggestion to even stay in Bilbao and come to San Sebastian for the conference days. And then also, people are enthusiastic and are already booking up the Carlton. So if you have your heart set on the Carlton, you want to follow Iñaki's advice and go ahead and book that soon. Alberto, you wanted to add?
No, everything is very available in the sense that the train station in San Sebastian is just 25 minutes walk from the Cursal, and the Cursal is just 10 minutes walk from the beaches and all the summer resorts. So it's just the heart of the city.
We also had a question about for people who don't want to walk, or they are disabled and walking the old part of the city is not really an option. Are there car rentals, and are there Uber and Lyft and taxis available in San Sebastian?
Yes, there are Uber and Lyft. It's getting into San Sebastian and Bilbao, but they are not very. I don't think that this is still. We don't have any licenses for that still here. But the taxi, it's very reachable. It's easy to get. I can get links for the taxis. I can ask, but I think that they should be like. I think that most of the taxi services are gonna have like a special offers with taxis available for people with any disability. Sorry. And also the public transportation. Sorry, public transportation also is prepared to have like wheelchairs and that sort of things. So public transportation is also kind of adapted to that. So and the
if
Cursal and the
anybody
Carton
has
also.
questions about accommodations like that, please just get in touch directly and we can help you figure out a plan for getting around. And as far as renting a car to drive yourself between the cities or to drive around the cities, I would just say parking in these cities, that's something you'll kind of have to figure out for yourself. And we can't really advise on that. But yes, in theory, you could rent a car. If you're an American, you'll need to get an international driving permit before you leave the country. You cannot just show your American driver's license and pick up your car in Europe. You have to go through the, I think it's the AAA office here to get your international driving permit, or they won't let you have a car. But yeah, you could rent a car. That's another option. See a little bit of the coast before or after the conference.
Yeah, the cars, they are getting like, they are trying to get like dissuasory parkings in the very, like in the one side of the cities in Bilbao, in San Sebastian, not to get like too crowded. And the parkings are a little bit expensive. But anyway, if someone wants to use the car, feel free to rent a car and use it. And anyway, I think that we only have left the last, like the schedule or the special events. We have a couple of special events in San Sebastian and another like 3 more in Bilbao. Okay, so the first special event is gonna be the inaugural banquet. So we are gonna have after all the registration and the 14th of July, we are gonna have an inaugural banquet. We are gonna have like a buffet. We are gonna also have like something called Bersolaris, which is like bass poetry singers or something like that. And that's gonna be the 14th, during the afternoon. Then the 16th, the Tuesday, we are gonna have the travel award fundraiser dinner, which is gonna be in a cidery, which cider is a very typical drink in the north of Spain. There is a very traditional menu like cod omelette, a big steak, everything drink by cider, and we are gonna go to to a cidery. It's gonna be like 15 minutes from San Sebastian, but we are gonna provide the bus and everything. Then the travel day, the 17th, there is an option if any of you wants to come. It's gonna be an optional event, of course, but we are gonna go to the wine country, to La Guardia. It's gonna be, we are gonna depart from Donosti from between 9 or 10 a.m. Then we are gonna visit the Marqués de Riscal, which is a wine that Hemingway liked it. Marqués de Riscal is this building done by Frank Gehry, the same architect that did the Guggenheim. Then we are gonna, after visiting this, we are gonna have a lunch in Villa Lucia. It's a restaurant in at the very bottom of La Guardia. And then we are going to visit La Guardia. La Guardia is this beautiful hill right here. It's located in southern Basque Country, and it's very famous because of the wine. So after having lunch, we are going to visit La Guardia, but it's a very tiny and beautiful place. And then we are going to end up visiting a little bodega called El Fabulista, which is based on a 18th century writer. And finally, after some free time in La Guardia, we are gonna arrive Bilbao at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we are gonna include all of this as a special event. We are gonna take you by bus, we are gonna offer all of those things, and then we are gonna leave you in Bilbao. So it's gonna be like a full service, if anyone wants to join us. I don't know if you want to add something, Berna, Alberto, about the La Guardia excursion, or
It's important to notice that the bus is going to end in Bilbao, and some people could have the night before San Sebastian. Then they have to notice and they have to book in advance the bus to return to San Sebastian.
okay.
There have actually been a couple of questions that relate to the excursion and also just to the conference overall about partners and children, and is the Hemingway conference typically for solo travelers, or can people bring their families? So a lot of people do bring a partner with them to the conference, and we actually have a special rate for partners that's called the social program, and that will be a slight discount. It includes attendance at the opening and closing events, the social events, and one panel. So basically your partner can come see you present, but not the entire academic panel. So a lot of people do choose to do that, and while they're busy conferencing, their partner goes out and sees the sites. That's very typical. There are a lot of people at these conferences who are not academics, and so yes, they are very, very welcome. As far as children coming to the conference, I have personally brought my child to the Hemingway conference in the past. I would say that the academic portion of the conference is not very child friendly. Obviously, if you have your kids there with you, you would want to make sure that they are, staying quiet and not interrupting the presentations, whatever that involves, someone traveling with you or an iPad or whatever is gonna, not disrupt the presentations. They'll be bored by the academic part of the conference. I can tell you that from personal experience. As for the social parts of the conference, are they child friendly? We're going to have a highlight demonstration. We're going to have live music. We're going to have poetry reading. The excursion to La Guardia will be very, fun for kids. It does involve some, optional drinking of alcoholic beverages, which obviously your kids are not going to partake in. So yeah, you could bring kids to the conference. I don't know that it'll be the most fun thing that they ever did. You probably want to have a partner with you who is going to do the more fun things, like going to the beach and more kid-friendly activities. So in short, yes, it is possible to bring your family with you. I would say you do need a plan to have kids at the academic portion of the conference, because that part is not so family friendly or entertaining. Let's see what other questions. Hopefully that answers that question. And yes, kids would have to, be registered if they're coming to the social parts of the conference as well. I had another question about, to switch to something completely different, about visa information. So there was some talk that in 2024, Americans were going to have a type of visa to travel to Spain. That has been pushed to 2025. You no longer have to do that. We've linked some information from the State Department on the conference website about that. For people who are coming from countries that do require a visa, Some places in Africa I know will require a visa. You might need a letter from us to submit with your visa application, and we can provide that letter. That's something, I have a template for that. So if you just send me an email, I can send you the letter that you submit with your visa application. Right.
Yeah, I see a couple of questions about San Sebastian and Donosti. Sorry, if I say Donosti, it's the same city. Donosti is in Basque and San Sebastian is in Spanish. So sorry about that. Also another one that I saw. Yeah, and the currency in Spain is euros. So if you want to switch from US dollars, you have to switch to euros. Some of you have asked, and then I will keep going with our presentation. Okay, so another optional event that it's gonna be, this one I hope that it's gonna be free, the Highlight event. We are gonna Highlight is a Basque pelota, very typical sport in the Basque country, and it happens that Hemingway befriend many of these these players in Cuba, and some of them becoming very, very close friends of Hemingway. He went to the fronton, to the court that this Highlight is played, and the 18th, we are gonna have, I hope, like a very good experience in a fronton next to the Hotel Cartron that we are gonna give more details in the program and in the following days. But anyway, you just know that we are gonna have like a Highlight exhibit that we are gonna watch a game, and then we may be able to try some Highlight as Hemingway himself did in this picture. Okay, another optional event, it's gonna be the Pen Hemingway Award dinner. This is gonna be the afternoon of July 19th. It's gonna be in the Carton itself, in a Salon La Cristalera. This is the salon that you can see. And this fundraiser is gonna, Paul Bond is gonna offer his songs based on In Our Time. And we are gonna enjoy like a meal along with this magnificent music. And the last event, which is not optional, it's optional, but it's within the fee, it's the general fee, is the closing banquet. We are gonna have a dinner in the afternoon of July 20th, which is Saturday, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and it's gonna be in the Carton also. So you are very, very welcome to come here, and I think that I'm almost done. Yeah, I have a couple touristic information link if anyone wants to check online anything, and that's everything that I gotta say. Okay, and then there is another option if anyone wants to reserve. There is a little town called Ea, which is near Guernica, which is in between San Sebastian and Bilbao. It's like 45 minutes from Bilbao. There is a small Hemingway museum, a woman that is called, here you have the link, www.astay.net, and if anyone wants to spend a night over there, you are gonna be very, very welcome to go there. She has some photos like this, and the friends of Hemingway's from the Basque Country were from that area. So that's why we have this museum. And I think that that's everything that I had to present. So Berna or Alberto, if you have something else to say.
All right, we actually have a lot of questions piling up in the Q&A, so hopefully we can address some of those. Iñaki, someone has asked for your email, so I will, I'll let you provide that.
Okay, should I answer somewhere or?
Why don't you throw it into the chat, Iñaki?
Yeah, into the chat would be good for that. And we've got some, I do not know the answer to this question. Do we have any information on travel from Portugal, Lisbon or Porto to Bilbao and San Sebastian? And I actually had someone ask the other day about travel to those places afterward. So do either of you know the best way to get to and from Portugal from this location?
Probably Madrid, I guess. I don't know. Or by plane. Like I think that there is like good connection between Lisbon or Oporto with Bilbao. I think I'm not sure though.
Yeah,
But
don't underestimate being able to travel by plane, you know, between the European countries is actually can be faster, cheaper, and more convenient than the train, depending on your starting and ending location.
I would say the most direct thing, but I mean, if you have time and you want to use the train, also Madrid, I said on Madrid, it's the best option if you came by train, probably. I don't know.
You can fly from Lisbon to Madrid and then take a train. Madrid,
Yeah.
San Sebastian is very fast.
Let's see.
There's a question, sorry guys, about the cost of the transfer on the 17th. So
For
I'm
the
assuming,
excursion.
yeah, I'm assuming the question is the excursion. And I think, yeah, do you guys want to try to answer that to the best of your ability? I don't know how finalized numbers are.
Yeah, sure. So it looks like the excursion is going to be in the neighborhood of $90 or $100. That includes the bus transport and the lunch, and then the activities that happen during that excursion. So that's actually a pretty good deal. And then we also have a question about the logistics of moving locations there. And is it correct, Iñaki? I think you had spoken to the organizers about this, that we would get on the bus at the Cursal in San Sebastian and then be dropped off at the Carlton in Bilbao at the end of the day. Is that how that's going to work?
Well, we are not going to. We haven't said. San Sebastian is getting very crowded, so we have to talk to the authorities. Where are we going to gather everyone in the bus? But probably it can be or in the Cursal or in a nearby area that they are gonna let us know. But yeah, we are gonna specify that on the program and everything. But we are gonna be able to get in the bus in San Sebastian. The bus is gonna take us to La Guardia. Then we are gonna do all those activities during that day, and then the bus is gonna let us on the very like in the Carlton. Or like in somewhere like we can walk like 15 meters, like something like that. So very, very near.
There's a question about luggage too on the transfer from San Sebastian to Bilbao. Would there be a place to store luggage?
Yeah, it's gonna be a big bus, so we are gonna be able to get all of this luggage with us in the bus. Somewhere is asking if it's better to fly to San Sebastian or Bilbao. San Sebastian has an airport, but it's very, very tiny. I mean, you can try to come, but I would say that Bilbao is the best option. Or even Biarritz, which has like very good connection with Paris. So.
And Iñaki, can you post the San Sebastian travel URL that was in your presentation to the chat? And of course, we'll have all this information on the website as well. This session is being recorded, so you can watch it again, and also the slides will be there.
Wait, okay, so I have where to sleep, and then there's like where to sleep, and then there you have like, wait a minute, this is where to sleep, and then over there is
one travel tip while Inyaki's posting those things. One travel tip someone reminded me of in the Q&A is, especially for Americans, we really love our air conditioning. That is an amenity that is not always standard. And especially if you go the Airbnb route. I know some people found that out the hard way at the conference in Paris when it was unseasonably hot and they were stuck in beautiful Airbnbs with no AC. When you are checking your accommodations, look on the amenities, make sure that air conditioning is included. You will want that. It's going to be hot. I mean, that's not historically the weather that Hemingway experienced, but it is the weather we experience now. So just plan for it to be very hot.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing like a lot of people posting about Pamplona. As you probably know, the San Fermines in Pamplona are from the 7th of July to the 14th. And there are buses from Pamplona to San Sebastian, hourly service buses, probably more because of the San Fermines. There are going to be even more buses from Pamplona to San Sebastian. But again, make sure to get those buses before, like the ticket for those buses online before, and not go to take. You don't expect to get a ticket if you go the same day to get a ticket from Pamplona to San Sebastian, because it's gonna be very, very crowded, everything. And probably those tickets are gonna be in Alsa, which is the bus service that usually works from Pamplona to San Sebastian. I'm gonna put the URL in the chat too. Alsa.
There is another question. Are there any concerns about Americans traveling abroad given the current geopolitical situation? Is the conference doing anything to help these concerns on a security end? So I would say that, you know, when you go on a trip like this, you're undertaking that kind of risk. You know, obviously we can't predict the future, and being an English professor, you know, that's outside my area of expertise. I personally feel comfortable enough that I'm again bringing one of my kids with me to the conference. But that's just, you know, that's something that we can't really answer in terms of the security provided. It would be whatever the typical security is for our conference venues, the Corsal and the Carlton Hotel. As far as I know, they're not taking any extra measures about that. So.
There's another question that just came into the chat that may be on a few people's minds. How prevalent is English in this region, Iñaki and Alberto? Will people be able to communicate with relative ease if they don't speak Spanish?
I would say that they should be able to communicate in the very minimum, but I think that English is the second language that we learn in school now. So I would say that, I mean, it's not gonna be like everyone is gonna be fluent and everyone is gonna be super amazing at English, but I think that generally people is able to understand the basic needs in English. It's able to communicate in English, right, Alberto? I don't know, what do you think?
I actually went to Bilbao and talked to the police at the bus station, and they assured me that you can find a lot of people at the bus station that they speak English, either the police or the social service, and they will be happy to address any problem from the American tourists. So they actually said, yeah.
Then someone is asking also that they are traveling from Santiago de Compostela to Spain. Well, I think that is the probably worst communicated way from coming to Spain. Probably
By bus,
or maybe flying also.
flights, well, you have the Alsa buses coaches that go all over the north of Spain, and it will be a very good option for the American tourists because they can move up and down and then along the coast. And another option is Santander. It's a tiny airport, but it's very well communicated with England and Italy and some places in Germany as well. And it's just 1 hour and a half from Bilbao, less than 1 hour.
There's also some information out there on traveling from Santiago de Compostela to San Sebastian, because this is part of a historic pilgrimage route of great spiritual significance to people. And so depending on your travels and your reasons for traveling, there are actually tourist guides out there specifically for that route, but they're sort of geared toward the pilgrim traveler, which might help you form a deeper connection with the sun also rises if you have the time and inclination to do it.
It was the original English trade from the north of Spain all over the coast to Santiago de Compostela. So you will go all over the north coast and visit Romanesque villages and churches. That's very beautiful and a mystic pilgrimage.
Yeah, so I see we have some questions about travelers from Boston, Massachusetts, someone who's maybe looking to connect with other travelers to maybe fly over together, or kind of be traveling buddies. We've talked about ways of connecting people, and I'm not actually sure the best way to help you guys get in touch with each other. If there are conference attendees who are looking for traveling companions or whatnot, I guess I would say you could just email me directly and tell me where you're coming from, and if you're hoping to connect with fellow travelers, and I can maybe try and put you in touch. Also, grad students out there, if you are looking to cut costs and you would be interested in maybe being connected with a fellow student roommate, if you just email me and express interest in that and let me know, if you have a gender preference for who you room with, and if you are giving me permission to share your contact information. Obviously, we can't, officially be in charge of matching people up and ask you to please, take your own personal safety into concern when making these plans. But, if you'd like for me to pass along your contact information, I'd be happy to do so. You can just send me an email and we'll try and match up roommates and people coming from the same geographic origin.
And then I don't know if we answered this, but there are gonna be like vegetarian options. I don't know if some of you have answered, but yeah, we are gonna have. I mean, you have let us know that there are some vegetarian options. Like you need some special, like anything you need with food, just let us know. Like whether it's like a vegetarian menu, you have any allergies or something like that. So just to make sure that we are taking that into account.
I think we've addressed a lot of your questions. If we haven't gotten to your question yet, it might be because we addressed it earlier in the presentation. A lot of this information is going to be reproduced on the website. I just want to take in our last few minutes here and show you guys what the registration page is going to look like. And it's not live yet, but we hope it's going to be live soon, and we're going to finalize the numbers on the registration costs. But I just wanted to show you kind of what you can expect to see when you sit down and get ready to register for the conference. So I'm going to share my screen, and I just ask that you recognize that this is a sort of beta version of what the registration is going to look like. So don't look at it too carefully yet. All right, so you're gonna start out on the main registration page. You'll select whether you are registering for the regular program, which includes the academic panels. Then you'll have an option to add the social program for your guests. We're going to offer a discount, an early bird discount. So if you register before February 15th, you'll get a slight discount on your registration. And so when you sign in, you'll have an option to choose, what you're registering for. Your registration is fully refundable until June 14th, 2024. And then after that point, Sorry, Suzanne, did you want to add to that?
No, I'm so sorry. I had a cough and I'm not muted. My apologies. I'll
Oh, no,
mute.
you're fine. I thought maybe I was giving wrong information. So your registration will be refundable until June 14th, 2024. And we understand that sometimes things happen. So of course, just email us and let us know if you have to back out of the conference. I do ask that you let us know as soon as you are sure, because we will need to make adjustments to the program, and it would be helpful to know that in advance. If you are a grad student who has received a travel award and you are backing out, we will want to give your award to another student because we had more students apply than we had funding for this time. And so we do ask that you let us know as far in advance as you can if you have to back out. You'll fill in your registration information, including your email and phone. Your affiliation, that's what's going to appear on your badge. So you would put your university if you are affiliated as an academic or a student. You can also put independent scholar. If you're an attorney, you can put the name of your law office, whatever you want to go on your badge in terms of your affiliation, put that there. An optional field is your pronouns. I use she, her pronouns. If you don't wish to include your pronouns on your name badge, just leave that blank. We do ask that you let us know if you are a first-time attendee. That's a required field. It's optional to include that information on your badge. So you'll have a drop-down menu here where you can select first-time attendee, yes, include it on my badge, first-time attendee, don't include it on my badge, and then also it's not my first conference. That is there so that we can identify you and get to know you and welcome you to the conference, and that you can identify other first-time attendees and forge relationships and friendships. It's a very collegial conference, and that's why we're asking that information, not because we're just nosy. We ask that you RSVP to the opening and closing banquet. Those activities are included in your registration, but we do ask for your RSVP just so we have a head count and we can provide an accurate catering order. Then you'll have the option to, on the next page, add the optional activities. The travel grant fundraising dinner, which is going to take place on the 16th, and the excursion to LaGuardia, you can select to attend that. And then the Penn Hemingway fundraiser on the 19th. We also have a section on the registration form where we give you the option to make an additional donation to our travel awards. It is such an important part of our mission to fund the emerging scholars, the next generation of Hemingway scholars. And so that is why we are asking there if you would like to make an additional donation to fund the Hinkle grants and the Stoneback award there. And then you'll have the option to add your guests. And then you'll basically go through this whole thing over again, but for your guests. Then you'll have the option to add them, and then they can attend, as we said, the social program and one academic panel. And then you'll click through. It will ask you for your payment information, and you can pay with credit cards. And Suzanne, did we also take PayPal for the registration? I can't remember.
I don't know. Let me check and I'll get back to you.
Okay. And if you have any trouble, just, get in touch. I don't necessarily look forward to an inbox flooded with questions about registration, but because, tech stuff is sometimes a little hard to get through, but we don't want you to be sitting there frustrated on the other end of your screen. And so please, if you have any trouble, we want to make sure that we get you to this conference, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. So again, you can reach out through the contact form on the website or just directly to me, and I'll be happy to troubleshoot that for you. Oh, Suzanne, you're muted.
The answer is no. We've moved over to credit card, direct credit card.
Okay, credit cards only. All right. We have a little bit of time. We're right at 1 o'clock, but we have enough time to maybe take a couple questions. And then there's, of course, the question, rough idea of conference cost. What is this? We described the conference. It sounds great. what's it gonna cost us? We are very, very close to pinpointing the final total for the conference cost. It will not be more than $250. And if you register for the early bird option before February 15th, it should be less than that. Yeah. And when will registration go live? I think we're going to get the registration and the program up by the end of the month and as soon as possible. So, and then will there be Wi-Fi at the conference venue?
We will have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean it's a basic utility at this point. Water,
Yes.
food, Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Okay, so to clarify, yeah, I mean, Charles is asking if it's the best idea to fly to Bilbao and then take the bus over to San Sebastian. It can be a good idea because there are buses from the airport to San Sebastian, but I mean, you can do that. I mean, it depends on what is the cost, because sometimes it's better to travel to Bilbao, other times you can also check via Ritz, but usually Bilbao is cheaper. So, yeah. So that's.
I think we're gonna have a good time. I think we've got a good program planned with lots of fun activities, and we really hope to see a lot of you in Spain with us this summer.
Yeah, Madrid San Sebastian, it's easy to fly, but also Madrid Bilbao, or I mean, you can also
Madrid, Santander, Madrid, even La Coruña and all the places. The north is very welcoming.
All right, everyone. So it does look like we've hit all the big high points. I think what we'll do maybe is just entertain another minute in case anybody has that question that they've been trying to type in but getting distracted. So I'll talk for a minute while we give you that time to type in any final questions by saying, oh my goodness, Verna, Alberto, Iñaki, this looks like an incredible conference and looks like so much work. So thank you so much for everything you have been doing to pull this conference together. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sure everyone else is as well. So thank you to the team. It does not look like we are getting any other questions. So for those of you interested in the recording, it should be up within 24 hours, and we'll add some of the other resources to the conference area of the website as well. So look for that in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
See you guys in
thanks.
Spain.
Okay, see you. Bye.
See ya.